Good evening and welcome to the Defiance City Council meeting for tonight, January 13th, 2026. Before we get things underway, would you bow your heads in prayer with me? Dear Heavenly Father, as we gather together this evening, Lord, I ask that you are present with us this evening, that we have wisdom in what we say and what we do. With our words, we speak the truth, yet with gentleness and respect. Lord, I ask that you guide our thoughts and our actions this evening so that you would be glorified, that truth would be spoken, and that the people of Defiance would be cared for and the resources stewarded well. Please give us wisdom as we move forward this evening. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. This meeting is now called to order. Let the record show that all the current members of council are present this evening. Would you stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we get underway this evening, we do have a public hearing. Tonight we have Lorenzo Zamora with the Maumee Valley Planning Organization, the Community Development Planner, here in order to speak with us. Thanks for being our guest, both of you, this evening.
Of course.
I don't think Lorenzo's going to speak.
No.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and present the information for tonight. My name is Esty Blair. I'm the Senior Planner at Maumee Valley Planning Organization. So I've been at MVPO for about 4 years now, and Lorenzo is my coworker who is also a CDBG guru as well. So, but we'll go ahead and dive in. Lorenzo's going to have a sign-in sheet. That's just a required document that we need for tonight. He has a couple of handouts as well to kind of guide our quick public hearing. So the purpose of this public hearing is it's a part of what's called a community development implementation strategy. We have to have that in order to apply for community development block grant funds. So the community development block grant for program year 2026, there are several programs available for the city of Defiance. So we'll run through what those are tonight. I'll provide a little bit of information as well on what CDBG is. So community development block grant is an umbrella term that is used to describe several different programs. CDBG funds are federal funds. The Department of Housing and Urban Development receives the funds and then allocates those to the state for administration. So the State Department for Ohio that manages these funds is the Ohio Department of Development. So every 2 years, the Ohio Department of Development submits what's called a consolidated plan to Housing and Urban Development. That consolidated plan details all of the program guidelines that we're going to present on tonight. So this first page, and for a little bit of context, Maumee Valley Planning, we run the CDBG program for the 5-county region that MVPO serves, so including Defiance County. So previously, the city had a Nikki Warnicki managed these funds, so MVPO is going to be assisting this year with the Community Development Block Grant. So when I go through this information, this is my first presentation to a city, so sorry if I reference county or municipality. A little bit of, we've had 4 already so far. So, but this first page kind of defines all of the steps that we have to take to prepare an application. So we'll work with Ryan and Melinda on these pieces of the Community Development Block Grant, but essentially we have to define our project and we have to define our project service area. The service area is important because we have to have a national objective. So in order to be eligible for CDBG, every project has to meet what's called a national objective. There are 3 main national objectives. The main one that we use to qualify CDBG projects is benefiting low to moderate income populations. So we look at the ACS data to determine if our service area meets that national objective of benefiting low to moderate income populations. That percentage has to be 51% or more of the population being low to moderate income. So that is one of the ways that we have to qualify eligible projects to apply for community development block grants. There are a couple other national objectives. they're not as common. One is eliminating or addressing slum and blight, and the other one is urgent need. So urgent need projects are really reserved specifically for natural disaster type projects, so we typically don't have urgent need projects to submit. Addressing slum and blight, that would be like demolition related activities. However, there's been really good demolition funding through the county land bank. So a lot of our recent demo activities have been funneled through the land bank instead of through the CDBG program. So once we have our project identified and we've confirmed that it meets that national objective of low to moderate income benefit, we have to get a cost estimate. There's some specific things the state requires us to have with our cost estimates, mainly being that they're stamped by a certified professional and they use Davis-Bacon wage rates. So since these are federal funds, we have to calculate Davis-Bacon wage rates within our cost estimates. So those are some of the legwork pieces that we need just to make a project application happen. So on the back of your sheet, these are the most common CDBG programs. So this is the majority of what tonight's public hearing is focused on. So there are about 5 main programs that we work with. So this year is the City of Defiance's allocation year. So what that means is the City of Defiance essentially has guaranteed funds that will be coming. We just have to make sure they meet that national objective and are an eligible activity. So the allocation year essentially grants up to $120,000 total for construction. This can be split between 2 projects. So eligible projects for the allocation grant are typically things like parks, sidewalks, streets. You can do infrastructure projects. $120,000 just isn't that much. It doesn't go as far with infrastructure projects. So this is where we really see a lot of projects related to those smaller projects that really don't get funded in any other category. This is, again, it's not competitive. These are guaranteed funds that come. The city council would make a resolution to authorize the application to select the projects. You don't have to select 2 projects. You just can select up to 2 projects for the allocation fund. This is an every other year cycle, so it's only offered every other year to the city. The next program is the critical infrastructure program. Any grantee can have up to 3 open projects or applications. Open means that it hasn't been monitored from the state yet. So your construction might be complete with the project, but until it's been closed with the state and monitored, it's still open. I think the city only has 1 critical open right now. So you can technically submit up to 2 applications in program year 2026 for critical infrastructure. The construction amount is $470,000, so that is how much you can get towards a critical infrastructure project. It is very competitive throughout the state, so because of that, documentation of health hazards, the criticality of the need, system failure, things like that are really important to help support the application. This is for infrastructure that has failed. So this isn't maintenance costs, this isn't new infrastructure, this is failing infrastructure that is in critical condition and likely causing some kind of health hazard. So we see a lot of lead water lines, updating water lines. Roads technically are an eligible project under critical, but they just aren't as competitive. So we do see a lot of water and sewer projects through the critical program. The next program is the residential public infrastructure program. This is an open cycle program, so we submit a pre-application for these in July. This is higher on how much funding you can get. It's up to $720,000 towards construction. This is for larger scale water and sewer projects. You have to have a permit to install from Ohio EPA before you submit for the residential public infrastructure grant. So this is also a 1-to-1 match. So $750,000 is technically the total grant amount. If your project is $1.5 million or more, you're going to achieve that 1-to-1 match. If you have a project that's less than the full application amount, then there's likely going to be some match that is needed. The match can be from any other funding sources, as long as that other funding source allows for CDBG to be a match. So this is mainly for larger scale projects. These, the RPIC program, in addition to all CDBG, really have a focus on residents and benefiting actual beneficiaries versus businesses or commercial buildings. So that's the residential public infrastructure grant. Are there questions so far?
Do we have any questions so far?
And I'll do the last two. Okay, the last two main programs that we work with are the downtown program. So this program allows for up to $225,000 to be used for 3 buildings in a downtown district. This is also an open cycle grant. A pre-application would be due in July for this program. It is mainly for code compliance corrections or facade improvements. This really isn't for buildings that have been vacant and there's no real planned end use. This is for maybe businesses that are already in operation that just need a little bit more maintenance for their building, or gap financing to kind of push a building over the edge to be occupied. So this program, the city would have to pass a resolution designating your downtown district, which you may have done in the past already. You also have to pass a resolution indicating that a certain percentage of that downtown district is slum and blight, or that the building that we're addressing is slum and blight. That percentage is 70%. So for this program, we've talked about the national objective, we've talked about low to moderate income. This program uses that slum and blight national objective. So income data doesn't necessarily matter for this downtown building application. The last one is the flexible grant program. This was formerly known as the Target of Opportunity Grant. The name has changed recently, but this is also an open cycle with a pre-app to be due in July. The construction amount is $225,000, and the main purpose with this grant is to fill gaps in financing. So it's for projects that are maybe really close to being finished or construction to start, but it's just to kind of push projects over the edge. It's also reserved for projects that don't really fit any of these other categories. So the only time that we've managed a flex grant is actually for a brownfield remediation program, because brownfield doesn't really fall into any of these other categories. This is also where that urgent need national objective that I talked about with natural disasters, that's where the money comes out of for those urgent need natural disaster projects. So both the downtown and the flex grants, we usually only see 4 to 5 awarded per year throughout the entire state. So they are pretty competitive, but the flex grant is, as the name implies, really flexible on what it can fund. So those are the main programs. I failed to mention the allocation and critical. Those don't require pre-applications. Those full applications are due in June to the state. The other 3 programs on the sheet have pre-applications that we submit in July. After the state opens a full application, then we submit a full application whenever they open the portal for us to submit it. That usually happens sometime in November to December for the full application, for those programs to start in the spring. With the allocation and critical, we would submit in June. Your construction would have to be complete by August of 2028 for programs that are submitted in 2026. So it's technically 2 years from the time you submit for completion, but about the first 8 months of that is waiting for the state to make award announcements and issue a release of funds to get started. So for projects that need to happen or you're hoping to happen in the calendar year of 2026, CDBG is probably not the right fit for those projects. So these are thinking into next construction season. Questions that I can answer?
Do we have any questions, comments?
Mr. President, I'll just say that Estee's a joy to work with at Maumee Valley.
Thank you.
Jury's still out on you, I guess. She just does a marvelous job. Her follow-up is spectacular, and she's a real plus to Dennis Miller's staff out there.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Well done, very clear, concise, and I feel like
It's
really learned something. This is very
good,
good.
yeah, it's a lot of information and, like I said at the beginning, we're used to doing this for counties and typically at those meetings, it's all the municipalities that come. So we're giving a lot more handouts because then they go to their councils and talk about it. So try to keep it concise for you, to give you the information that you need and then we'll work with your staff to kind of identify projects. So the next step, for you all would be a second public hearing that we will host later this spring. The purpose of the second public hearing is to announce your project selections for what you want to fully submit applications for. So that typically happens sometime in April or May or whenever we have all of the information that we need for the two project selections. So Lorenzo's email is on the bottom of this sheet. He will be happy to answer any questions that you have about any of the programs, so feel free to reach out with any questions about CDBG or any other needs that MVPO might be able to assist you with. So thank you for your time, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Will you be getting a hold of me for your second public hearing? Will you email me when
Yeah.
you're ready?
Yeah.
Okay, I
Yeah.
appreciate it, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
All right, without any questions, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sorry.
So, next up this evening, as we were talking about last city council meeting, we have an opening as Ward 3 City Council Representative. Now, we've had 2 applications for this position, and we have both of the applicants here this evening. So what I'd like to do is give them an opportunity to come up and address council and just sort of speak their mind or answer any questions if we have questions, or for them to ask us questions. So heads up, just in case we're asked questions. And then after we have an opportunity to hear from both of the applicants, to take nominations and vote for who's going to fill the Ward 3 position. But our first applicant that is here this evening is Stacy Kaufman. Thank you for being a guest this evening.
You're welcome. Glad to be here. As President McMaster said, my name's Stacy Kaufman. I live in the 3rd Ward. And I decided to come to council and apply for representation of the 3rd Ward because I know that I want to be represented by somebody who shows up, takes it seriously, comes prepared for meetings, and knows how to present themselves professionally in public meetings, and knows how to bring people together when the conversations get difficult. It's nice to be able to keep a cool head and look for insight from all sides of the issue so that a decision that's made impacts people in the best manner possible. It's not always going to impact everybody in the manner that they want. But I know that I'll vote my conscience, and I'm somebody that will look at all sides of something, seek input, and be glad to give people in my 3rd Ward the time of day if they have a question or need help being referred to the right source on council or city administration to get a problem solved. I know that I'm quite willing to serve that time. Serve that time could be taken in a very poor light. But after having a high-profile position in public employment for more than a few decades, I treasure my private time, my personal life, my time with family and friends. I love to have fun. I take things seriously. But, I have to admit, I thought, oh, gee, there goes a lot of privacy. There goes a lot of time you can call your own. And so one question I would have for city council members is, do you find the time that you serve fulfilling? Without answering it for you, I'm gathering you do, because many of you are repeat ballot winners.
I'll answer that first. Yes, I do. And as far as how much of your private time is going to be taken away from you, I would say that that really is not an issue for me. I'm always available for calls and emails, and I answer everyone, talk to everybody. I love helping people. You have your commitment to your council and the time spent there, which is 3 times a month, or we might have special meetings. You have to come prepared. But you'll have plenty of time to go fishing if you want to do that.
Fishing might be the last
Outside,
choice.
outside that possibility, got it. Golf, how about that?
Any other councilors? Mr. Hancock?
It's very fulfilling, especially to serve the community. I enjoy that portion as far as like Mr. Corbett had mentioned, you basically respond when someone contacts you, and do what you can, do what you feel is, you may be you're a resource. A lot of times you're a resource, for getting that question, concern, constituent to the right person. How do I get a permit? Or can you find somebody that can trim my tree? Or, hey, so-and-so, their grass is getting overgrown. What's the requirements for that? But you also have, you do have situations where, it takes a lot more thought in the process. I know being on council, we've had some debatable, situations, but we've done the best we could, with the information that we have. So it is very fulfilling. I enjoy it.
Thank you.
Mr. Engel?
Yeah, I enjoy working with people. I've done that my whole life in what I've done. I enjoy answering questions and stuff like that. It's been real good, a real experience to help people, and I try to do what I feel is best for the city and everybody like that. That's why I'm here.
Right, Mrs. Crutch?
I have to agree with everybody. I love this town, I love the city, and I think the most important part for me is being visible. I like walking downtown, I like going into the stores, I like seeing people, I wanna talk to them. They know that I'm a city council person when I've gone into Eclectic Wallflower or to Nick's or whatever, and they'll just talk to me, and I think it's good when you gotta be visible to people too.
Mr. Waxler?
Yeah, I think it's real fulfilling, but also on the other side of that is, you do get a lot of calls and this and that, which is great, I mean, that's what you're here for, but we've been pretty fortunate with the administration we have to work with. If I have an issue, I can call them and I get answers, which is that's the way it should be, and it works that way, so. You got a good administration to work with too, so.
I thought you were recording of that.
No, I mean, I call them here and I get the answers I
Yeah.
need.
I was gonna put it in
Yeah.
the paper for you. I think.
It takes day and time.
I would also say vice versa.
Better put the
That's
day
true.
and time down there.
I'll just round it out and echo everyone's sentiment that it's nice to be here and to be out among people, talk to people, get just the exchange of ideas. It's interesting, and we can take those ideas. Somebody may have a small idea, and we can take it somewhere and help it grow bigger. I mean, it's just that kind of exchange with the community that really is what keeps me here, basically.
Okay, good.
Excellent. And do we have any questions for Ms. Kaufman?
No, the only thing I can say is that being in the school system and running that is totally different than the government system. And I've learned a lot in that area. So, things take a little bit longer here than the school
Oh, I
area.
thought they took long in public education too.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
You would know
I'll be-
that, yeah.
I'll be
So
prepared
do
to
you
learn a
have
lot.
goals that you wanna see happen in the city?
I chose to retire back to Defiance because it was my hometown and it had a lot of good things going on. I particularly like the things that are happening with economic development, with the downtown revitalization. There are so many good things that are happening in the city. Things come and go, businesses come and go, leaders come and go. But I really do love the town of Defiance, and I'm glad to come back to it. I was gone for about 11 years working in Van Wert County and had to reside in the school district, so was an adoption to live in Defiance and commute for 11 years. But I was pleasantly surprised to find a place to live in my old neighborhood that I grew up in since I was the age of 4, and decided I'd drive back and forth the last 6 months of work, and then that turned into 18 months because Van City Schools approached me to serve their district as an interim superintendent for a year while they continued their search for a long-term superintendent. So we drove back and forth for 18 months, and it was worth every bit of it because I just loved being back home again for that long. I will say that my life has been fuller, richer because of all the opportunities presented to me that I said yes to. Whether it was a harebrained idea of my own, like train for a half marathon, just to see if I could do it. I was sensible enough to say a half was good enough and I didn't have to do a full. You know, or just the opportunities were presented to serve on committees and be part of organizations. So I'm glad that I've done all that, and that's part of the reason I decided when the vacancy came up in 3rd Ward, well, if not you, who else? And I'm thoroughly glad to see that because I love the spirit of competition. So good luck to you and best wishes. I will be a good 3rd Ward resident for you if you're chosen. But that's all I've got to say. Unless there are other questions, I'd be more than willing to answer some.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And our second applicant is Robert Kraus, or do you prefer Bob?
I go by Bob.
Got it.
Robert means I'm in trouble. And then I hear my mother in the back of my head, because that's the one where I usually heard it. I did bring a lot of things, I'm not gonna read any of it, but for the last 40 years, I've been pretty much involved in strategic planning and being prepared and that type of thing. I was a good Boy Scout with Charlie Dirk many, many years ago. So I have some points I wanted to bring. I was born and raised in Defiance, born at Defiance Hospital, graduated in the class of 75. 2 of my classmates are here with Mike and
I'm
Jill.
the youngest one.
That's where the hill came in from, Jill. We just celebrated our 50th class reunion, had a good time with that. And, but, you know, why do I want to do this? I mean, Defiance is a great place to live. And our current administration has done just a tremendous job of bringing out the strengths of our community. And again, you guys are a lot of why that has happened that way. I've come back here 3 times in my life. And the first time, obviously, being born and raised and graduated, went to Ohio State, said Columbus is really cool, I'm gonna stay down here. Then I had kids. So I said, I gotta come back to Defiance. And one of the things that Defiance instilled in me was values, work ethic, accountability, those kind of things. And I wanted my kids to have that. So I came back to Defiance, Ohio, and put my kids through the gauntlet of the public school system, and happy to say they were much better students than their father as NHS members and everything else, but they turned out great. They have great hearts because Defiance goes with you no matter where you go. Those values stay with you. They help you grow. So my job took me away from town after my kids were raised. Moved to Florida for 15 years. I know Steve asked me why would I come back from Tampa. And I've usually said because of the weather. But no, it's because of what Defiance offers all of us. It's people that care. We know everybody. We know they'll take care of us. They know they'll step up when they need to make a difference in our community. And that's really important. And for me, I probably have more of a personal reason to want to do this. I come from a family of service. I have a father and 2 uncles that are in the Defiance City Hall of Fame. And again, you know, they showed me what a service life is all about. You work hard, you listen to people, but you don't do it for any feedback or any great notoriety. You do it because you want to make a difference. And that's what I want to do. I've enjoyed what the community has given me, and I would like to be able to give back to them. I was fortunate enough, second time around, that I was involved in a lot of things. I sat on the board of the Volunteer Connection. I ran a couple of the scouting campaigns in our community, and raised a lot of money to help with healthcare. Was instrumental in raising money for the Sam Hornish Family Heart Center, Chest Pain Center out at the ProMedica facility. And that's what I've done professionally, is raise money to make a difference for people. So service has always been in my background. I love where I live in the third ward. It's growing. I saw the mayor and a few other people a few days ago breaking some ground up off of Dahmersville Road. And that's in my backyard. I see everything that goes on there. So I got my eye on it. But I'm excited about it. I think what I can bring is a steady, practical approach to the leadership, one rooted in respect for where we've been, one looking at the responsibility of the present, and then a vision for the future and how we can continue to make Defiance a great place to live. So that's kind of why I got the interest. I didn't see it until Friday. I think I called Jill on Friday and said, "Can you tell me a little bit about the position and what it entails?" So she did a great job of filling me in on duties and everything else that is involved. But it would be an honor to serve our community.
What, did you have any questions for council, or does council have any
I
questions?
do have a question.
Sure.
Probably many more than that. Okay, the third ward has a lot of things going on in it. It has some things that probably are glaringly need some help as well. What do you see as the biggest challenges for whomever comes into this position to serve the residents, serve the city, and make it where it's a win-win for both?
If I may, having stepped from that role, the biggest challenge in the third ward is balancing your commercial and your residential customers and or citizens, your homeowners. Because a lot of them, they live right next to businesses. So just being able to wade through that and balance it for them so that everyone's getting treated fairly. And the commercial people aren't stepping on the residential people's toes is the biggest challenge, I think, in that area. It's just that blended economy on the north side.
And there's a lot going on, so I understand that completely. Wonderful.
And do we have any questions from council? Well, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
After hearing some introductions and questions from the applicants, are there any nominations from the floor for the third ward council member?
Is this what we,
Yeah, Mr. Corbett?
I'll nominate Stacy Kaufman.
Nominate Stacy Kaufman. And are there any further nominations?
I'll nominate Bob Cross.
And are there any further nominations from that?
how do we do this? Is this something that we discuss later on, or is this something we're doing right now?
Well, actually, now that we have two nominations and hearing no other nominations, the nomination period is closed. What I'll do is I'll say, I would ask the council clerk to conduct a roll call vote for the appointment of the nominees, because Ms. Kaufman was nominated first. She'll do a roll call vote. If Ms. Kaufman gets 4 votes, well, then she's appointed to the position. If she doesn't get 4 votes, then we'll take a vote on the second nominee, which would be Mr. Kraus, to see if he gets 4 votes. So, Ms. Owners, would you do a roll call vote for the nomination of Stacy Kaufman to the 3rd Ward Council member seat?
Mr. Engel,
Yes.
Mr. Corbett,
Yes.
Mr. Hancock,
Yes.
Mr. Mass,
Yes.
Mr. Waxler,
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch.
Yes.
Okay. With unanimous votes in favor of the appointment of Stacy Kaufman, congratulations, Ms. Kaufman, on your appointment to the Defiance City Council.
Thank you very much.
With that, I'll probably grab you and chat with you later.
Okay.
And you too. Me too. She's actually the more important person to talk to. Next up, I've reviewed the index minutes for 2 city council meetings. I've reviewed the index minutes for November 25th, 2025, and also the city council meeting for December 2nd, 2025. Do we have a motion to correct or amend the minutes as they're presented? Without such a motion, I will endorse the same. And do we have any liaison meeting requests or reports? And do we have any comments from council?
I just have
Mrs.
one
Crutch.
comment. As far as a nuisance report, if you put it on, who's actually going out to check on the place that I might want to put on?
Me.
Okay. I might
For
just
now.
contact you
Okay.
instead of going to the nuisance through the whole
Perfectly fine.
rigmarole. Okay, thank you.
I just told you how easy he was to work with.
I know. I'm gonna give them a list.
Several members of council do that from time to time,
Alright.
so you're perfectly fine.
Not a problem.
Do we have any other comments from council? All right. Without any further, on my desk, over the last couple of weeks, I've mentioned to council members that it is time for reassignment of liaison committees for city council members. A couple of you I heard requests or preferences from. Some are more, they'll take as they come. But what I would like to do is itemize and go down the assignment to liaison committees. For buildings and lands, Mr. Engel. Economic development, Mr. Hancock. Finance and budget, Mr. Waxler. Police and fire, Mr. Corbett. Public relations, Mrs. Crutch. Public utilities, gas and lights, Ms. Kaufman. We can discuss that. Also, because you're the new guy on the block, sewer and sanitation, Ms. Kaufman. Streets and sidewalks, Mr. Mast. And waterworks and service, Mrs. Crutch. And of course, the at-large council members, Mr. Waxler, Mr. Mast, Mrs. Crutch are on the Traffic Commission. Now, if you were assigned a position that you don't prefer or would like to discuss, just give me an email or a phone call and we can discuss it. But that's all I have on my desk. No?
No,
No,
you're stuck.
oh no. Mayor McCann.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't really have anything, but Ms. Kaufman, congratulations. It's good to see you, and I will say that Stacy was a member of our planning commission, so she'll be resigning that position. I do have a candidate for that, and I'll be getting that to council once I confirm with that candidate they still have an interest.
Well, thank you. Mr. Mack.
Nothing at this time, Mr. President.
Mr. O'Donnell.
I have nothing at this time.
And Ms. Sprague.
Just one quick note, if you want a hard copy of the adopted budget, I have those in my office, so just see me afterwards if you want a hard copy. I'm working on entering the 2025 actuals into the budget, so once I have those all entered, actual revenue and actual expenses, I'll just email that copy out to you and you can keep it for your reference if you want to look and see what we actually spent in 25. That's all I have.
Thank you. We do have 6 items of legislation for discussion this evening. Would you read the caption for the first?
First reading by caption only, an ordinance amending the district map to rezone the property located at 916 East Second Street from a B1 neighborhood business district to an R2 medium density resident district.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. President. As we discussed at the public hearing for this property last week, Section 1165.03D lays out the procedure for these map amendments to the zoning code. And this is the final step, City Council review and decision by ordinance. The applicant, as the clerk read, wishes to convert the property from a B1 district to an R2. Planning Commission reviewed the application on November 17th and recommended the amendment favorably. And one member noted that since most of the surrounding property is also residential, this kind of matches that surrounding property, this proposed change. And then, of course, you had the public hearing for any comment last week.
Do we have any questions for Mr. O'Donnell? Any comments? Mr. Waxler?
No further question, motion to suspend and call.
Motion to suspend and call?
Second.
Second, Mrs. Crutch.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Math?
Yes.
Mr. Wexler?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
And Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Corbett.
Second.
Second, Mr. Engel.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Math?
Yes.
Mr. Wexler?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
And Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
All right. With that, this ordinance is adopted.
First reading by caption only, an ordinance amending ordinance number 8702, passed December 9th, 2025, to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Defiance, Ohio, during the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026.
Ms. Sprague.
Yes, I had sent out an email about a couple of supplementals that I needed to put on. The first supplemental for $200,000 is out of the 403 capital fund. As you recall, the end of last year, we started talking about the boilers down at Police and Fire need replaced. So Paul's in the process of getting pricing on that, but probably looking around 180 is what he had told me. And we're looking at this summer doing that project. But once he gets, along with the air conditioning, so building's old, these are originals, and they need replaced.
Just one point,
Yes, go ahead.
I remember when that building was built.
It's not that.
I don't.
So that's that one. The other supplemental was approved in the 2025 budget, Mark's sewer project out at his plant. I had to close out some purchase orders at the end of the year, and this just needs reappropriated. You're gonna see it probably carry into 27. There'll be a debt payment eventually into 2028, and it will be financed. $6,147,000. Part of it's the project, and the other part of it is what we still owe for the engineering and the project design. But Mark has came and explained what the project is last year, so you should be all aware of that. That's it, unless you have any questions about those.
Any questions for Ms. Sprague?
No further questions, motion to suspend and call.
Motion to suspend and call? Second. Second, Mr. Mass.
Mr. Math?
Yes.
Mr. Wexler?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
And Mr. Hancock?
Yes. Motion adopted.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Engel.
Second.
Second, Mr. Hancock.
Mr. Math?
Yes.
Mr. Wexler?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes. Motion adopted. We already did it, right?
Yeah, I read them all.
Yeah, what are we looking
Oh, I
at?
was counting in my head, I missed.
Oh.
Now,
Okay.
the motion is adopted.
First reading by caption only, an ordinance authorizing a monthly transfer of funds for the city of Defiance, Ohio for the year ending December 31st, 2026.
Ms. Sprague.
These are the routine transfers that you approve every year in January. The only difference is I took these January through November instead of bringing one to you in October and one in November. There'll still be the final cleanup in December. But the general funds, you're taking money from those funds and transferring it to the funds listed under Fund 2 to make those whole. And then the 590, 591, those are coming from those funds to the Fund 2 to make those funds whole.
So typically there's a January, October, November.
It goes January through October, and then you'd put one on, it could stay the same in October, and then a separate one in November, but I'm just gonna go January through November. These dollar amounts come from the budget. There's formulas in there that help me populate what these are, so as long as things are staying on pace, I don't see why in October we need to look at changing anything. You had the final meetings in December to clean things up. It seemed to work well last year and the prior year I was here, so that's my take on it.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Sprague? Mr. Waxler?
No further question, we'll suspend the call.
Motion to suspend and call.
Second?
Second, Mrs. Crutch.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
And Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Motion to adopt. Motion to adopt, Mr. Mass.
Second?
Second, Mrs. Crutch.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
And Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
All right. With that, this ordinance is also adopted.
First reading by caption only, the resolution authorizing a settlement of civil case for the appropriation of property located at 1115 Ottawa Avenue.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Thank you, Mr. President. These next two resolutions I'll just kind of describe together. The council may recall a passage of what we call a resolution of necessity for these appropriations back in October, and then followed by the ordinance authorizing the filing of appropriation action for 2 channel easements for the Ottawa Avenue Corridor Improvements Project. And we filed the complaint for appropriation shortly after that. Now, unsurprisingly, the cases were moving along to a proposed resolution. And I say unsurprising because, I mean, most of these cases will settle because because the ODOT deadlines were such, we either had to file or make a different, or much starker choice. So we kind of forced these filings that may have otherwise come to some kind of resolution, absent filing. So it's with this case, with the first case, the parties reached a proposed resolution of $3,750 for an easement interest that goes across, looks like 4 parcels, and that's for drainage, storm drainage. And then the second one is across 2 parcels. The proposed resolution is $2,500. It'd be good to get these cases settled, but that's ultimately your authority under section 133.04 of our codified ordinances.
Do we have any questions? If we go in order for this current resolution for the 1115 Ottawa Avenue, Mr. Waxler?
No further question, we'll suspend the call.
You have a motion to suspend and call?
Second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Mast?
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
And Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Motion adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Engel? Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Mast?
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
And Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
With that, this resolution is adopted.
First reading by caption only, a resolution authorizing a settlement of a civil case for the appropriation of the property located at 1105 Ottawa Avenue.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Again, similar concept. This is the neighbor, I believe, to the south of what you just approved. Two parcels, and it's the proposed settlement amount is $2,500.
Similar vein, no further questions, motion to suspend and call. Motion to suspend and call, Mr. Mast. Second, Mrs. Crutch.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Wexler?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
And Mr. Hancock?
Yes. Motion adopted.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Hancock.
And Mrs.
Second, Mrs. Crutch.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Wexler?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
And Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
With that, this resolution is also adopted. And lastly,
First reading by caption only, a resolution in support of the City of Defiance pro-housing policy.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Mr. President, the Ohio General Assembly created the Residential Economic Development District, or RED program, last year in the state biennial budget. And that program appropriated $10 million for eligible residential projects near major economic development projects. And high on everyone in the state's radar is Defiance, for the obvious reason of the first quality project to our west. And one of the criteria for these funds is for the local government to have a housing policy that favors development and to that, a particular kind of development. And also to have an expedited process for approving these developments. Again, we think that the city is prime for to be a candidate for that kind of funding. Back in 2024, you approved an amended planning and zoning code that fast-tracked the approval processes on the planning and developments, major subdivisions, and other developments, variances, among other things. And that's important because developers will tell you that time is money when they're taking on a project. It could be the difference between a rate lock on financing, or just the time to pay professional design firms, and time to commission the work to get it to fruition. If you're waiting on permits, can be very costly. This policy before you tries to match the goals of the Ohio General Assembly by emphasizing and even favoring the higher density mixed-use developments. We just had one with the map amendment here. But like the ones we're seeing and some of our new developments. So I think the state just wants to see that we're favorable to the concept of them, and it might, I emphasize might, open up some funding to help these developers build some new housing.
Mr. Corbett.
Just for my clarification, you used the word particular kind of development. What exactly does that mean? What are they looking for, Sean?
So the three things they identified in the residential economic development districts, the criteria they're looking for: transit-oriented, which, I mean, that's harder when you're in a smaller city, higher density, and the newer projects seem to fit that mold. They're not all, some of them are townhomes, some are apartments here soon, and then mixed use. You might have a commercial use on the ground floor, like in those 5/1s you see in some of the other cities, and then a couple floors of housing above. That's what the state's looking for. We meet some of those criteria, but we
Would
don't
that
necessarily
help our downtown buildings, for example? You have business on the bottom floor, residential up. Or is that a non-starter?
I kind of doubt it. I have not read that front to back, Mr. Corbett. When Mr. O'Donnell mentioned higher density, it made me recall a year or so ago, I was in Toledo at a housing meeting, and there were some developers there from some of the major metropolitan areas, and they referred to us here in Northwest Ohio as the side yard capital of the world, because we have so much setbacks in our side yards. Mr. Hancock, as a realtor, you'll appreciate that. But, these new developments won't have as large of side yards as well, maybe we're accustomed to.
So zoning would have to change somewhat.
But, I don't see that benefiting our downtown businesses. But I will do a little research to make sure.
Mr. Mast?
My concern with this pro-housing policy seems to be that it's heavily favored towards developers and builders and maybe lacking in protection for end users. By streamlining, by trying to speed things along, I'm hoping that our zeal for new housing doesn't bypass our requirements, doesn't bypass our inspections, doesn't allow us to be subpar compared to code and ordinance findings. That's my concern.
I'll say this, Rick Robinson, our building inspector, currently, received plans from D.R. Horton on the newest development in Whispering Pines. And I believe he sent them back on more than one occasion for edits and wouldn't issue the permits, which they just poured some foundations, I think yesterday. He wouldn't issue those permits until he had things the way he wants. And I believe Mr. Robinson shares your passion for making sure things are done properly. We saw an example of that on a single-family home one day last week. So I think we're good in that regard, Mr. Mast, but I'll share that with Rex to make sure he understands what you're looking for.
Mr. Hancock?
With this resolution for the pro-housing, it also appears that we're looking for living and deceased, based on looking for, oh, my bad. I was thinking that we were looking for, 250 acres of, I should say, cemetery resting places.
Yeah, you're right.
I apologize for that one.
I didn't read that.
Mr. Corbett?
We'll go back. We'll get off that, go back to the zone, or the inspection zoning. What kind of pressure is that gonna put on our crew that has to, if this is gonna speed this process up, obviously you have the potential of really turning that into quite a workload.
So I'm not, it's not necessarily, and correct me if I'm wrong for what you're saying, Sean. We've already sped up the process through our revised zoning code that we passed quite a while back. It is not, this policy that they want to make us qualify for this grant, this state, is not going to necessarily throw a bunch of new things into our zoning code. We've already done what would be required to speed up, which is, some of the things you talked about was just hearing times. We had to have multiple hearings before we could implement something through planning commission. We streamlined some of that stuff already. So when this came to us, we looked at it and said, we've already done everything that they consider speeding up. There are cities where it takes an extraordinary amount of time to get stuff passed through planning commission, to get all your I's dotted and T's crossed by inspectors, permits issued and things like that. We as a city try to be very proactive and make sure we are staying on top of that stuff. So even without this, we still technically qualify under their sped up process.
Okay.
It already exists for the city.
Maybe I didn't ask that. As far as the plan approvals and the documents that come in prior to all this, I mean, is that gonna put more pressure on our staff? You have to look at all this stuff before.
Yeah, it will, but they'll handle it.
Or we'll hire somebody or.
Understand, Whispering Pines is getting started. We expect the development behind Kroger to happen some this year, but both of those projects aren't gonna be built out completely. They're planned to be phased. Now, how quickly they go from phase 1 to phase 2 will depend on how quickly they sell those homes. And, we haven't even really gotten a good start at Preston Landing, out off Ayersville Avenue. So the only other thing on the housing side that's really in the pipeline is behind Walmart, and, that's a large enough development, that'll be the state inspector there.
Mr. Mast?
Two more questions, if I may. First, I mean, what was the source of this particular policy? Is it a boilerplate? Did you pick it up off somewhere and tailor it to us, or is this something we created?
We obtained it
By
from the
specific language?
Maumee Valley Planning Organization, that, not the people that were just here, but another department of them. And they did have some items in here that I thought either required council approval to amend our planning and zoning code, so I took those out. Because it was our belief that Ryan's correct, you had already done the heavy lifting. And so we went through that, amended, or some of the things we wanted in there, took out other items that we thought would conflict with our code.
My second question to that then is this simply a resolution, a piece of paper to stuff in the drawer so that we can look good, or are there real world consequences that are gonna come out because of this particular policy? Are there changes?
This should benefit the developments that were already in process.
But it's not change, this particular policy isn't gonna change anything in our code, anything in our zoning, no?
No.
There will be no amendments anywhere, this is strictly a resolution on paper.
Correct. Now, you gave me a thought, Mr. Mast, I wanted to make a point, and then it's fleeted away, but, I know what it was. The state legislature, different times, I've read articles about conversations down there, and then spoken with some of our state legislatures. And I'll say that our local elected legislatures, I don't believe, feel this way. There's a lot of finger pointing in Columbus, pointing at municipalities as being, their zoning code and building standards being too restrictive, and that we were the reason things weren't developing. Before they've done anything that they're doing now, most of our housing stuff was already in planning and beginning to be underway. So I don't see that. And when, there's nothing wrong with having a few rules, because when you don't, you end up with some pretty messed up projects. So I think we're on track. None of this really creates any heartburn for me, and I appreciate all the questions, they're great questions. But I don't think it's gonna create any concerns.
I just wanna make sure standards are kept up and
Yep.
we don't end up with some Levittown houses or something similarly that people have issues with in the long run.
I can give you an example of something where maybe the staff felt a little pressured, and I feel free sharing this. The plan unit developments, they used to come to planning commission twice for the preliminary plan and then the final plan, and also would come to council twice. So you had the preliminary plan submitted, staff could just look at the basics and say, yep, you got that, let's keep it moving to planning commission. And then what the city engineer doesn't like or planning commission doesn't like, they can send it back and amend it. We've condensed that, we consolidated that into just the plan approval. And so as staff, we have to be on it and look for the sidewalks, look for the setbacks, look for, any other requirements, stormwater, whatever. That has to be ready to go for that planning commission. And that's been an adjustment for us, and it's been an adjustment for the developers, because they think they get a second bite at the apple. And anymore, they don't, because of that streamlining that council approved.
Yeah, I don't mind the streamlining. I think that was a great thing because it was laborious for these places to get through our planning commission with their planned unit developments. And I think, as the mayor mentioned, I think a lot of this housing we have now probably would have came to fruition regardless of our zoning changes here in the last year. So, but like I said, I want to look out. I've seen a lot. I've been in the construction industry in Defiance for 35 years. And I've seen a lot of houses where people roll in, build them, and walk away, and the homeowner calls and calls and calls, and nobody answers the phone. So that's my concern, and that's why I want to look out for the people here that are going to end up eventually living in these homes.
Good point. Mr. Waxler?
Yeah, I had several questions, but most of them were answered and all this, and then I come back to thinking again, what is this actually, we need this?
I'm sorry, what?
Do we really need this? Because you keep saying that we've already done all this when we redone our, so why do we need this?
It would make us more competitive for this
I
funding.
don't understand how that can make us more competitive when we already done you keep telling us we already done everything on this.
It's part of the grant application process to qualify for one of these grants. When the state is handing them out, they look to see if you are applying from a city that has one of these in place or not. We have been told, we believe that having this in place will take people who would be applying for that grant, and kind of give them a few more bonus points in the grant application process. So this, in the long run, having this policy in place would benefit people trying to get these grants for housing.
If I may, Mr. Waxler, this is similar to when they told us, explained to us that the Parks Master Plan, having it on hand would help with grants. This was just gonna cost us a lot less money.
It makes sense.
That checks out.
And it does help us with grants.
Mr. Engel?
Yeah, I guess from what you're saying, this is gonna basically help us for grants, basically, which will save us money. Thank you.
Yeah, the grant makers, I mean, or the award, people, the departments that award the grants, I mean, they're busy, but I'm not trying to be pejorative here, but they're gonna check the box. City of Fostoria has this plan, City of Defiance doesn't. That's how they do it. They're not gonna go in, I don't think, and read everybody's codes.
It'll help us with more grants, basically, is what you're saying, maybe?
We think so.
Okay.
Mr. Corbett?
If we exhausted all our questions and motion to suspend.
I believe we have one more question from a citizen. Mr. Posey?
Yes, sir. I got a question.
Oh, yeah, would you come up so that people at home can hear? And while we all know you,
Yeah,
please state your name.
sorry about this, I don't get old. Hey, I got a question on, like, for veterans, like Wounded Warrior Project. And there's enough, Mr. Canlos, the other, veterans.
Tunnel to Towers, Mr.
Tunnel
Posey.
to Towers, there you go. Why can't we look into something like this? Because of we're to help the veterans out also, and be funded by the federal government.
Oh, are you addressing this resolution that's currently being considered?
I think he's talking about more housing.
Okay. And
Be federally funded, you guys always looking for money to, get the project completed. Well, we got the programs from federal, and Wounded Warrior. I just ask, you're looking on that, for development and Defiance. Because we have a lot of veterans that could be, benefit this too, and their lives. Okay?
Thank you.
Do you understand?
We got you, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
with that, we have a motion to suspend and call and do, Mr. Hancock?
Yes, I will second that
All right, and we have a second, got it.
I didn't hear who was first.
We have a motion to suspend and call, Mr. Corbett, second, Mr. Hancock.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
And Mr. Waxman?
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mrs. Crutch. Second, Mr. Waxler.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
And Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
All right. With that, this final resolution for this evening is adopted. Before we adjourn for the evening, we have a time for citizens' concerns or questions or comments. All right, Mr. Posey.
Should have stayed up there.
Save you the trip.
I got a question what is going on with these electric scooters and electric bikes and stuff, with no lights on, and during the night, I've about 2 or 3 times ran into these bicycles and electric carts and all, with no lights on, like at night, it's dark, no lights on. I just wonder what's being done by this.
Do you know offhand, Mr. O'Donnell, if electric scooters or bikes are required to have illumination after dark or lights?
Not off the top of my head, Mr. President, I don't have the code in front of me.
Well, I think to
I don't-
answer more broadly your question, Mr. Post, is that we do have laws on the books regarding these electric bikes, correct?
We do.
So,
Yeah,
there are laws, it's just a
Because
matter
there's
of.
been several times, like, especially like over on Hopkins Street, they come across the bridge and no lights, and then they turn, get down past the bridge and they just take a left down through there. And I mean, that's where I ran into it the most, but, I thought.
It's similar to a lot of the issues, it's an enforcement issue, so it's a matter of a police officer being in the right place
Yeah,
at the right
right.
time. Or
Understand,
if you see somebody on a regular basis, you can always call and say, hey, there's this certain time,
yeah.
they're usually running through here, so it's really is an enforcement issue, but.
I
it's
just,
definitely on their
I
mind.
thought to ask, cause I've run into it quite a bit used to run into it on, 111, but now it's more on Hopkins Street. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. And unless we have other citizens' concerns, do we have a motion to adjourn for this evening?
So moved.
So moved, Mr. Corbett. Second, Mr. Engel. All those in favor of adjourning for this evening, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? All right, we are adjourned.